Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of 13 Rings podcast. We are recording after week 2 and we have a lot to discuss, right guys?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So before we get into the games, let's go over our predictions. So for the Dallas Cowboys, besides Earl, the rest of us thought there was going to be a loss, of course, against the Jets. That was before the Aaron Rodgers injury. Earl, you called it right.
I
For
had
Philly,
regardless if Aaron Rodgers was playing.
yeah, you made the prediction regardless of if he was playing or not. For Philly, we all predicted a win. For the Giants, we all predicted a win. And besides Earl, all of us predicted a win for the Commanders. How you feeling about that one, bud?
I ate crow. As
Okay, cool. As long as we establish that, because
long as y'all ate crow too.
we did. Okay,
We
yeah,
did.
we did.
We
We
did.
did. All right. That being said, first game, Thursday night game last week, Eagles versus Vikings. Maurice, take us away.
Well, first of all, you failed to mention that the NFC East went 4-0.
Oh yes, we did. We did.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that later. But yes, absolutely. They did go 4-0. I think we're looking like one of the stronger divisions this year again. That's good. But Maurice, go ahead. Take it away for us.
7-1. Eagles. They got to win 30. Shoot, I forgot the score right. 34-28
Yeah.
over the Minnesota Vikings at home. This was a good win. This was a promising win. Although we had even more injuries. It looks like we lost our slot corner, Avonte Maddox, for the season with a torn pec.
Dang.
That's tough.
That's a painful one, too.
Yeah, because he's really good. He's a really good slot corner.
And if
One
I
of the
remember
best.
correctly, when you pair, it's like same thing with a bicep or in a pec muscle. If you tear it, doesn't sometimes if it ruptures all the way, it can actually like curl up in a ball type thing in your chest.
Yeah, it's like a big, huge bruise down the side, whatever
Oof.
side it is.
Sounds painful.
It is.
Very much so.
Yeah. So, but the positives though, DeAndre Swift, he went off 175. I might be off a couple yards, but he looked really good. And this is coming from a team that only gave him one carry in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a very promising. He was our player of the game. The only bad things is the offense still looks a little sluggish at times, a little stagnant. We got to work on that. We have 10 days before our next game, which is Monday night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the good is, DeAndre Swift, offensive line looked amazing. Defense looked good too. We're just going to have to deal with the injuries coming up. But our D line, the young guys, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, who looks rejuvenated, they all look great.
Yeah, I
But
mean, you guys were able to. Oh, sorry, were you? Go.
no, go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say the running game looked good. The receivers looked great. Not Jalen's best game, in my opinion.
No.
Not what we became accustomed to last year, but solid. What I want to point out here is that you guys beat the Vikings, but I mean, Vikings beat themselves really with the turnovers.
Especially the Justin Jefferson fumble touchback.
Mm-hmm. You had that, Kirk Cousins turnovers. By the way, outside of the turnovers, Kirk Cousins was phenomenal, and that's why Mal lost this week in fantasy football.
I know we got like 61 points.
Lead
Crazy.
scorer. Yeah. No, you're just not having good luck. We'll talk about fantasy later.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out, I don't know if you guys saw, but the Vikings just made a trade for Cam Akers.
Running back, not kicker.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good trade. They needed a running back, so that was not a bad trade by them.
No, it's not. Hopefully, he can help them. I think on the season they have 64 rushing yards total.
I think 69. It was like 69.
Yeah, that's not enough.
No.
Does this mean that the LA's tanking?
Not necessarily tanking. They didn't play that bad against San Francisco this week.
Not one bit, yeah.
Yeah, and that rookie they got, Pakua, he's setting it off and he's lighting it up. I guess they're gonna find their wide receiver 2 in him when Cooper Kupp gets back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
he's
enough.
having a nice rookie start to his season. But yeah, just to finish up on the Eagles, 28 carries for DeAndre Swift for 175 yards and 1 touchdown. He averaged 6.25 yards per carry. So yeah, so that's him and the offensive line doing great work. But
why did he only get 1 touch last week? If he's this good,
I have no answer. I don't know what they were thinking in that offensive room, study room. I don't know.
They're probably just trying to fill out everything with the offense and stuff like that.
Our new offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson, he looks like he's a little overwhelmed. It might come a point throughout the season where Nick Sirianni takes over the play calling. I don't think he's going to do that just because I don't want he'll show up, Brian Johnson, if he does that. But we gotta figure out something when it comes to the offense. Jalen Hurts is not throwing the ball down the field. I know the defenses are taking that away, and they're going to try to do that on Top Bowls. Going to do that on Monday night, and just let him throw underneath all game. So Jalen Hurts really has to just take what they give him on with their defense and go from there. But overall, great win.
Yeah, it was a good win. Yeah. All right. If you talked to me Sunday, you know how hyped I was. Because I'm not going to lie, in the first half, they had us. And yes, that is the reference to that meme. But in all reality, they only really had us for about a quarter and a half. Commanders fell down 21-3, but then they were able to fight their way back, win 35-33. Defense held Russell Wilson in check except for one Hail Mary, pretty much. And after that first quarter, and you can say it was a blown call, but we all been on both sides of those whistles, and you take the win when you can take the win on that 2-point conversion. What went wrong for that game? The offensive line. I'm really concerned about it, especially the left side of the line. I'm really concerned about it.
Lucas, that's been a consistent worry for you.
I think rightfully proven so.
Yeah.
I don't think there's. I mean, look, it is the clear weakness of this team. Sam Howell played fantastic. What went right? Sam Howell. He looked like a comfortable quarterback now. Like he's not struggling. He doesn't look like an indecisive, inexperienced player. He towards the end of that game, he was running that offense smoothly, looked comfortable. And Bieniemy went right. That defensive line went right. Chase Young's back, and he looked like Chase Young again. That was a big win for us.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And Emmanuel Forbes with his first pick of the season. I say first because I'm expecting more. The defense looked fantastic after that first little quarter blurb. And the player of the game, this is a tough one. I'm not going to lie. If I had to choose one, I'm going to go with Daron Payne. He had a sequence at the beginning of the third where it was a 3-and-out. He got a sack, a tackle for loss, and a batted pass. And that really galvanized the team's defense for the second half, pretty much the rest of the game. So I'm going to give it to Daron Payne. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I would have gave it to the offensive line.
You would have no.
I changed my player again. It's kind of a joint one between Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson Jr.
Ooh, yeah, the running backs. They really stepped it up big. But okay, Maurice, why would you give?
That was my logic as well.
Okay.
That was my logic. I mean, I'm one of the football fans that likes to give love to the offensive line when the running backs do well. So that was my logic.
They gave up way too many sacks early on. I can't do it.
Okay.
I won't do it. I
How many
refuse.
sacks did they give up, Lucas?
In the game, let me pull
Yeah.
up the stats here real quick.
Yeah, they didn't quit. They just kept playing. And when they gained momentum, they kept it.
But I like the combination of Robinson and Gibson. Gibson is more of the receiving running back, and he does it really well. I like him out of the backfield. And Brian Robinson is really just a very versatile running back.
So, if I'm reading this, because ESPN does not make things clear, but sacks, it looks like they only had 4.
That's not too bad.
Could have been
Yeah, that's
better.
not-
It could have been worse.
Yeah, I mean, we got 7 sacks against Russell, so there's that. But no, I think the defense just really showed up in this game, and that's why I got to give especially Dayron Payne, that sequence was like defensive player of the year level stuff there. He looked like the best
And
tackle, defensive tackle in the game.
and Chase Young,
Sorry, go.
Chase Young looking like the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
Very promising.
And he was
For
playing in
sure.
that altitude. That was his first game back, pretty much, and it was in that altitude, looked fantastic. He was only supposed to be on there for third downs. He was pretty much there all of the second half.
So let me ask you this, Lucas. After
Uh-huh.
2 games, is Ron Rivera safe for the season?
Do you want me to be put on the fan hat or the analysis hat? Because those are two completely.
This is a fan podcast.
Okay, so fan wise, at the moment, yes. But if I'm looking at this logically, we beat one of the worst teams in the NFL in the Cardinals. And so far, the 2 wins that we've gotten is against 0-2 teams. Not to discredit our 2-0 start, because it's still a 2-0 start. It doesn't matter how you cut it.
A win is a win.
The win is a win. But we haven't faced true competition. Like Russell Wilson, the game was lost, and he had 2 turnovers, but it was not because he was playing terribly. He played well enough to win. It was the Broncos defense, because I think Eric Bieniemy figured out how to beat them in the second quarter, and that's where the tide changed, and the offense got their confidence. Because in that first quarter, Sam Howell was like getting beat up left and right. So, that being said, next person up is
me.
Yep, go ahead, Earl. Take it away.
Alrighty. This win right here. I know some people are trying to cut it and say that they didn't have Aaron Rodgers. Technically, most people have said the Jets defense is pretty much on one of those top defenses that could get them to a high deep into the playoffs and such. And they're in the top 3, as they said. Cowboys invited them in the home and put 30 on them. Left them leaving out with 10 points. Win was 30-10. This game really, I kind of struggled trying to watch it because they were showing the Washington game. So, but overall, I still was able to see the game, and just seeing how well they played, I was so proud of what I saw, because with me being 32, I really, when I was a baby, was the last time they had like success in getting to the Super Bowl. So this is like my first time seeing just an execution of solid offense and an execution of solid defense. I was so happy what I saw, man. Like it just showed how much the change of getting that Jason Garrett line and that Kellen Moore and Scott Linehan out and putting some legit coaches in there with experience and time with this team. I'm really seeing the time that was put in, and they're not at their full potential yet. And they're still kicking tail through 2 weeks. One one thing that went wrong was the big play that happened where Zach Wilson pretty much threw a dart to Garrett Wilson. He got away from Malik Hooker and took it 66 yards, one of his longest TD catches and run since he's been in the NFL. And then pretty much after that, they didn't clamp down on it, didn't let anything happen after that. What went right was Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, his coaching in this, I'm really seeing it under full display, especially in this Texas Coast offense that they're running. It's simplifying so much with Dak Prescott. It's simplifying so much with the offensive line and utilizing the role players. And I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I really like the conservativeness that Mike McCarthy had, in which pretty much taking the ball first and then marching down and scoring a touchdown on this top 3 defense the Jets have, and then having Zach Wilson try to beat them. And I just liked how he won the toss and then received it and marched down the field on the first drive for a touchdown, and then was like, all right, Zach Wilson, see what you do. So it really just showed that he was playing chess out there. And Robert Saleh is a great coach. Like, he coaches up a great defense. But how Dallas was just manipulating this defense, they're not even at full potential yet. And I'm seeing so much growth in them. I have a stat line real quick in which Dak Prescott, he basically went 31 to 38, 255 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tony Pollard, he had 25 carries, 72 yards. And the other running backs got involved too. Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, and Hunter Lukey. And basically, this game, they went halfway on the offense. Like, they pretty much ran the ball 43 times. I've never seen Dallas run the ball 43 times. Like, it was just mind-blowing to see, because it was like they wore that defense down, and I loved it. My player of the game, Micah Parsons. The situation with him and just his growth through the offseason, I'm seeing it under full display. It's crazy. And I'm just excited to see how well he's doing. And the defense is right along with him. And the defense is getting better. And one player that's shining along with seeing Micah Parsons' presence is Osa Odighizuwa. He's a 3-tech, and he is playing a really good job in that DT spot, as well as edge rusher. He has 3 sacks in the last 6.5 games, even into last season, where it seems like he's coming to his own, especially with the presence that Micah Parsons has. What do y'all think?
So first off, I want to say kudos to Mike McCarthy. He's clearly get back into his groove in terms of play calling, getting the play out quick, allowing Dak to look at the defense and allowing him to change it if he needs to. You also did the perfect thing that you need to do against a good defense, run it down their throats. If they would have done that to you guys,
Absolutely.
maybe the game would have been different, but they didn't. And granted, your offensive line is a lot better than their offensive line, so gives you guys a little bit more ability to do so.
And you know, the crazy thing is, our second-year player, Tyler Smith, didn't even play.
I know.
Injury-prone Chuma Edoga, and he held his own against that front four for the Jets. And you really didn't call much of the front four's name, especially Quincy Williams, who's basically a solid defensive tackle that pretty much can throw fits. And Chuma pretty much held his own in that, and it pretty much gave Dak time. And I just really enjoyed seeing Dak just with his drop back, being in sync with the receivers. I've never seen that with Dak Prescott, and I really think this Texas Coast offense is his.
Yeah, look, I mean, you guys look like one of the best teams in the NFL right now. So I don't think that you guys can I mean, granted, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and it's not necessarily that I believe this, but it has to be brought up. You guys did not play two elite quarterbacks. No offense, Mal.
It's okay.
So I can't. Let me see you guys against a real elite, offense, and then I can call you guys true contenders. But right now, you guys are going to be playing Josh Dobbs week 3, so I ain't going to do it next week.
Okay,
Don't
so
sleep on Josh Dobbs,
okay,
Lucas.
okay, Lucas.
I look. My team didn't allow him to score 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
It's all right.
Do you consider Russ on how he's played over the last few years a top quarterback?
Look, Earl, I already said we beat two teams that are now 0-2. I gotta take my team with a grain of salt right now too. So I hear what you're saying, but I've already talked about my team. I talked about how they need to prove it against a real team. I'm asking for you guys to do the same.
Okay, in that case, Dallas pretty much in 2 games has a record of 70-10.
Hey, I'm not complaining that. Kudos to you guys. I'm just saying, let me see you guys against like one of the best.
Okay, you will.
I know I will.
Week 5 versus San Francisco.
There we go.
Bookmark it.
Hey, I already got it locked in for San Francisco. I'm not afraid of those guys, and I know Dallas isn't afraid of them either.
Well, I'll say this. Lucas may be skeptical about your defense. I actually agree with you, Earl. I think Michael Parsons is the most dynamic defensive player in the league right now. The way they can move him around on that line, and he can come at you from any angle, and it's going to lead to a sack or pressure or something that's going to benefit the defense. And it is great to watch a defensive player like him that versatile. It's fun to watch as a football fan, and I'm an Eagles fan, and I'll admit that he's fun to watch.
And Maurice, how you mentioned that, I took a look at his alignment of position. In the last couple of plays through the 2 games, he's lined up at left edge, left interior, right interior, and right edge. He's been thriving at the right edge spot with 23 snaps and 5 QB pressures. Each of left interior and right interior, he's got 1, a tackle for a loss, and on right interior, forcing a fumble on Dalvin Cook. And then left edge, pass rushing as well. I didn't even tell you. The defense pretty much shut the running game down for the Jets. Breece Hall only had 4 carries for 9 yards. Dalvin Cook had 4 carries for 7 yards.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Earl. The one thing that I was most impressed with was the way that you basically made their run game completely non-existent. I didn't even know that Breece and Dalvin were on the field, honestly.
Yeah, like the improvements that they have, it seemed like Dallas through the last 2 seasons on the defensive side has seen different things that they need to plug in to fix their weakness and turn it into a strength. And even through that, and I even saw Mozzie. Mozzie hasn't done that bad with the snaps that he has, but over time, it's going to increase, and I'm going to see more Mozzie. But it seems like now, with Dallas playing those mobile quarterbacks, Zach Wilson had the most rushing yards for the Jets, which is wild. And those were on plays where he was like, all right, I got to dip. Like, he was basically doing what Daniel Jones was doing week 1. But overall, seeing them build on the strength they have and Micah taking that role and being that leader on the defense, they're only going to get better.
I don't disagree that they will get better. I think that only time will tell. Like I said, Earl, I think that you guys are really good. I just want to see you guys against an elite team before I say that you guys are true contenders. Because right now, you and the Eagles in my head are tied for the best team in the division.
And you got the Niners superior?
In our division. I'm not talking about the conference. I'm talking about our division.
Okay.
And I think, Maurice, based off of how you guys have been playing, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
That being said, Mal.
All right, let's actually talk about a team who does have something to prove, which is the Giants.
The only team with a losing record in the division say what?
Well, I mean, we played a divisional team, so one of us was bound to have one.
I know.
But so
what time, Lucas?
Giants had the biggest comeback in their franchise history on Sunday, winning 31-28 against the Cardinals. Let's start with what went wrong. So last week, everything I said in the first half of this game, same thing. Everything went wrong that first half. I really thought that I didn't even know what I was watching that first half. It was just sloppy. No pass rush, defensive line totally just manhandled by the offensive line, and the Cardinals offensive line isn't that good. So I just was in complete shock. Another thing that went wrong was, and I'm not usually so critical on him, but the play calling by Wink Martindale, our defensive coordinator, was just very questionable. He had Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams on the sideline for crucial third down plays, for like goal line plays. It wasn't making any sense. But switching to what went right was everything in the second half. It was a completely different team. I don't know what Daboll said at halftime, but they really came into their own and actually decided to show up and play. Daniel Jones was the standout for me. In the second half alone, he went for 321 yards in total, 2 passing TDs, 1 rushing TD, and he had 59 rushing yards. And he just had the second half of his life. I think that he's definitely our player of the game. He really led that victory there along with Saquon. Going back to what went wrong, also Saquon getting injured, getting that ankle sprain. I totally forgot to mention that. So that sucks because we don't have him for tomorrow night, and maybe not for a few weeks moving forward. Who knows? But that's really the gist of it. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna give kudos to Daniel Jones in this. I would say he's the player of the game for y'all. He had to step up.
Absolutely.
After what Dallas did to him, I know there was talks in that Giants group on did they pay the right man. So seeing that, he stepped up. He utilized the receivers and just utilizing his legs. I would also say that they would need to do to have a chance against the Niners to utilize his legs, but he's going to have to get his guys involved as well, even though Saquon's out. But I give him a ton of credit in not giving up and being able to get them in time to win the game. So respect.
Yeah, look, I mean, I called Earl about halftime of your game, and I'm like, Earl, Mal's just having a rough week with fantasy, with this Giants game. And I told him, I was like, look, it looks like my thing about Daniel Jones was right. And I will say this, I'm not going to give up on that prediction, but I will say he has pushed off the naysayers for now. For now.
Yeah, for now, yes. And trust me, in the first half of that game, Giants Twitter was in flames, just wanting to fire everybody, get rid of everybody. Daniel Jones's contract was too much. And then it's crazy to see, like, that comeback and how that narrative shifts. And Daniel Jones does this all the time, though. Like, he'll have like these crazy games with killer stats, and then like the next game, it's just not there. The consistency needs to continue.
Has besides like in the playoffs last year, has he done it against good opponents?
No.
Okay, see,
at least not highly ranked at this point in time now. It's just the matter of the schedule, and whatever he decides to show up and do that, he shows up and does it. I don't get it.
It sounds like
mystery to me.
Well, tomorrow though.
Oh yeah, I mean tomorrow.
That's not going to be.
We'll talk about that in the preview.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I would give it to Daniel Jones as well. He did carry the team on his back. And I know you were complaining about your defensive coordinator, but he's not the most hated coordinator in the league right now. That goes to Pittsburgh's offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. So, gosh, did you hear them chanting "Fire Canada" after the win?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Being honest.
Yeah. But I'll say this about the Giants. When you have a comeback victory like they had in week 2, that can do a lot. That can do a lot of good for that team going forward. Now, without Saquon, it's going to be a little hard the next couple of weeks, but you can get a lot of good momentum from a comeback victory like that on the road. And shout out to Giants fans too who went to Arizona. They were loud on TV.
Oh yeah, they were really loud in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to transition to our new segment, and we are totally stealing the name "The 2 Minute Drill" from ESPN. And basically, what we're going to do, just to give you guys a brief,
Hope we don't catch a case.
Hope we don't catch a case. That's absolutely right. But what we're doing is we're going to be talking about the games that went on this week. Each one of us has got I got one division. Everybody else has two. And what we're going to do is we're just going to run through the scores, and that's really quick. If you feel like if there's like something major that happened, like say an injury to Cleveland, certainly mention that. But we're going to try to do this in around 2 minutes or so. So with that being said, Mal, you are up first, if I remember correctly. Go ahead, take it away. Say the division, and then say all the scores of the teams in that division.
No problem. All right. So I have the NFC West first. So the 49ers win 30-23 over the Rams. The Seahawks win 37-31 over the Lions, and the Cardinals lose to the Giants 31-28. 49ers are 2-0, Rams 1-1, Seahawks 1-1, and Cardinals drop to 0-2.
Perfect. Keep on going, guys.
Maurice, you're up.
All right. I got the AFC West. Raiders lose to the Bills 38-10. Chargers lose to the Titans 27-24 in overtime. The Broncos lose to the Commanders, of course, like we talked about.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs beat the Jaguars 17-9. The Chiefs look a little stagnant on offense as well. They're missing some talent there besides Kelsey and Mahomes. Go ahead.
They got Chris Jones back though.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
And Kelsey's back. In the NFC South, Buccaneers go 2-0 against the Chicago Bears. Baker Mayfield's starting to look like the answer at quarterback. You have the Atlanta Falcons rushing and dominating the ball on the ground against the Green Bay Packers, winning in a comeback victory 25-24. And then the inter-division matchup, Saints versus the Carolina Panthers. Saints win 20-17. Earl, you're up next.
All righty, I got the AFC East, and the teams in that division. The Miami Dolphins, they beat the Patriots 24-17. The Dolphins are 2-0. Patriots are 0-2. The Buffalo Bills are also in that division, and they beat the Raiders 38-10. Josh Allen had a bounce back game against the Raiders after having an abysmal performance against the Jets. And speaking of the Jets, they got throttled by the Cowboys 30-10.
Feeling good about that one, huh, bud?
Yeah, Earl had to throw that one in there.
Maurice.
NFC North, 34-28 Eagles over the Vikings. Lions lose to the Seahawks in overtime, 37-31. And the Bears lose to the Buccaneers, 27-17. And Packers lose, the division went on for. The Packers lose 25-24, to the Falcons. The Bears is the most shocking loss here. I don't know what's going on with the Bears. Justin Fields looked like he's regressed a little bit. I don't know. That team is lost.
Yeah, they got a lot of problems. But yeah, I got the AFC North now. We got the Ravens win 27-24. Joe Burrow is going to go out with a calf injury, which kind of sucks for the Bengals. Yep. And then the Steelers win 26-22. And we all saw that awful Nick Chubb injury, wishing him the best and for a good recovery.
Out for the season.
Yep. Ravens go to 2-0. Steelers 1-1. Browns 1-1. Bengals 0-2.
Okay, cool. I have the AFC South, and just taking a look at the games, the Tennessee Titans, they beat the Los Angeles Chargers 27-24 in overtime. The Titans are 1-1, and the Jaguars lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 17-9. The Jaguars, I believe, is 1-1. And also the Colts and the Texans played, and the Colts won 31-20. The Colts are 1-1, and the Houston Texans are 0-2.
All right, that concludes our 2-minute drill, which definitely went over 2 minutes, but that's okay. We'll do better next week, guys. All right, so Maurice, take us away with fantasy football.
All right, well, I guess we could start with me and you, Lucas.
Yeah, let's start there. Let's start it. Let's go.
I guess I can give you the floor on this one. You beat me.
Yeah, I did.
What was the score?
It was close. I'm not gonna lie, it was close. I'm pulling up my stats right now. I will say this: we both did not start the right running back, because if you would have started Swift and I would have started Brian Robinson, the scores would have been a lot higher than what they were.
Yeah, you beat me for 146 to 124. Yeah. I mean, going back to the Nick Chubb injury, I had him starting. He only gave me 6 points, and he went down with that injury. That's one of the worst injuries I've seen in a long time. That reminded me of anybody remembers Willis McGahee injury?
Oh gosh, was that when he was with the Ravens?
No, Miami in college.
Oh no, I didn't see that one.
I saw that one. Nick Chubb's injury, that was horrific to see. The last time I saw something like that was with South Carolina's running back. I forgot his name, but he had the same type of injury like that as well. And it was just really sad to see. It hurt my heart.
I haven't seen a knee injury that bad since then. I'm going to pull basketball reference here. Sean Livingston.
Yeah, that was pretty bad too.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on. Yeah. Well, that gave me 40 points off the bench. Joe Burrow had 29 starting. I don't know what's going on. It's another team I'm confused about. The Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, Swift had 25 points, and Richardson had 23 points before he went out with a concussion. But besides that, though, you beat me fair and square. Brian Robinson had 20 points on your bench.
Yeah, so Tyler Lockett had pretty much 24 points, and Sam Howell had 43, but he wasn't my best quarterback. It was Jared Goff. Crazy. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Hunter Henry, who's basically my third tight end on that bench with Kelsey and Hawkinson getting really good stats. He actually outscored Kelsey. He had 14 and Kelsey only had 11. So,
well, I'm actually what shocks me is for you to be a Redskins fan, Commanders fan, you had McLaurin on the bench.
I did not trust the matchup there. I thought Denver's defense was good, and actually, I had called Earl like minutes before 1:00, and I was like, "Who should I have as my flex person?" And we thought because Romeo Doubs of the Packers had 20 points last week, and they were going against a weak defense in Atlanta, that he would be the good start. But basically, their other two wideouts got the touchdowns, and he only got like 2 catches in that game.
Lucas, you should have started Brian Robinson.
I should have started Brian Robinson. I could have started Brian Robinson, Tyler Lockett, Terry McLaurin. If they would let me play tight ends at flex, I would have started Hunter Henry. Ooh, but it is good to be 2-0 in this fantasy league.
Everybody's pretty.
Talk your stuff, Lucas.
Hey, I'm allowed to. Look. I was the one that started the fantasy league, so I'm allowed to talk my stuff a little bit.
Yeah, and this week I gotta end you.
You can try.
Speaking of Earl to the L.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
160 to 148. Talk about
it. Yeah, some of my guys underperformed. Brandon Ayuk, I decided to start him today and start him this past week, and he had a shoulder injury. So hopefully I can get some updates on him. I think he's gonna be a game time decision tomorrow. And AJ Dillon covering for Aaron Jones. It ain't it. And Stephon Diggs, he had okay yards, but he didn't score. His teammate Gabe Davis got a touchdown, which gave me some points. But most of my guys just underperformed in this one.
I was about to say your tight end from Pittsburgh got you 0.2 fantasy points.
Yeah, that hurt. Cleveland's got a good defense, so they pretty much kept him grounded. But I'll rebound next week.
Pittsburgh has a bad offense. That's the real story there, Earl.
Fire Canada.
Yeah, that's true.
Fire Canada. By the way, I just want to say one thing about that game. When Nick Chubb was going off, even though it was a division rival and he was getting carted off the field, you still heard the Pittsburgh fans cheering for him, which was nice, all things considering. It was sportsmanship. That's what that was.
I thought that was a nice gesture from them, because no fan wants to see a player get hurt, regardless if it's a rival or another team. But them just showing class and just being able to encourage, but just clapping, it was really nice to see.
Now, who watched that game last night?
I did. I watched it.
So you heard when they showed the replay, you heard the crowd's reaction when a divisional rival's crowd is reacting that way to an injury. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
terrible. It really was such a terrible injury.
Yeah. But, not the only injury suffered, and that brings us to Mao.
Oh my gosh. What didn't go wrong with my fantasy team? All right. So first order of business is I started Tua, and that was a mistake because I have Lamar on my bench and I have Daniel Jones on my bench. And Lamar went for 43.1. Daniel Jones went for 50.5, and Tua went for 24.7. So I definitely could have did a little better with that. My running backs, Saquon did well, but I had Brees in the flex and he got me 0.9 points. Yeah, and then the Denver running back, Javonte Williams, he only got me 5.8. And then the biggest issue of them all was that the Jets got me -1 on defense. And my wide receivers collectively, both Calvin Ridley and AJ Brown collectively got me 6 points.
Look, the only person on your bench that could have made a difference here is George Pickens, but
yeah, he got me 21.7. So it was only the quarterback and the wide receiver that could have helped me. That was it.
But I mean, even if so, Mao, you lost by 83 points.
Thank you.
I got wrecked.
Hold on, go ahead, Reese. What were you saying?
I was gonna say that was the difference right there. It doesn't really matter what quarterback because you lost by 80 points.
83 points. Exactly.
It would have been closer if I would have had Daniel Jones in and George Pickens, but I
close
still
only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Okay, it does not count in football.
The only thing is, it wouldn't have been as embarrassing.
Oh no, losing 183 to 100 is certainly embarrassing. I apologize for calling you out there, but it had to be done.
That was a clinic taken behind the woodshed.
To be fair, I will take responsibility because I know all of us told you to start Tua this week.
Yes, y'all did. But
yes,
honestly, I agreed with you. Because of the way he played last week. But he was just a little more conservative this week. And the Patriots' defense is better than the Chargers. So it is what it is.
For her to start Lamar.
Did you?
I did.
Okay. Oh, Earl.
Had a flash.
I forgot to mention, my buddy beat you last week.
Yeah.
Not beat. Yeah. You coming for me? Earl?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. I'll just call Maurice for fantasy advice this week.
And real quick.
See, that's what happened. You calling me and me looking at my team, and I'm just like, dang, do I need to make a change and stuff? I'm gonna go with my instinct, and you need to learn how to go with your instinct, Lucas.
You're right. Because if I went with my instinct, I would have kept Brian Robinson in the starting 5.
Yeah, exactly. Don't call me.
And last but not least, Maurice, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, Hurts, Lahoma, and Hotel Odell won 131 to 97. Looking at his team, well, Hotel probably has the best team overall.
I agree.
My boyfriend is going to be very happy to hear you guys say that.
I don't know. His team's not number 1 in our fantasy team right now. I can't rightfully say that.
All right, Lucas, keep talking your stuff.
Hey, I don't usually do well in fantasy football the last couple of years, so of course I'm going to fully embrace this. And I am just glad that I don't have to share a league with my former co-editor for my basketball website, because he always used. You think I'm bad? He was 20 times worse. He was 20 times worse, because I'm only bringing it up right now when we're talking about fantasy. He brought it up all the time. And
Hey, Lucas,
Maurice, you know who I'm talking about, right?
You talking about Chris?
Yeah, I'm talking about Chris. You've listened to our podcast, our Sixers podcast. You know what he likes to talk about.
Yeah, I do.
Yes. So, see, I might be talking smack right now, but I will acknowledge when my team is not doing good. Right now, my team is still doing good, though.
Okay.
All of our teams are doing good.
Yeah,
Not mine.
I was about to say, except for Mal. Mal, are you the only one that's 0-2 now? Nope.
Yeah, I'm the Bengals of this division.
No. Hertzoloma is 0-2 as well.
Oh, that's my guy, John.
Yeah, he's 0.
I'm the only one who's 0-2 out of us four, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Word.
I'm
Okay.
the only one that's 2-0 out of us four.
Hey, Lucas,
right.
I'm about to deliver you a breadstick by Monday or Tuesday. I just want you to know that.
All right. We'll see.
No more powdered donuts for you. You're gonna get a breadstick.
Hey man, I'm not the powdered donut one in my family. That's my daughter. She loves herself some powdered donuts.
Hey, powdered donuts are nice.
They're really good.
Get your niece a bag of powdered donuts. She'll love you for it.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. So let's go to, last but not least, our social media interactions this week. So we had 2, and I'm gonna let Mal take it away.
So I'm gonna start with the quarterback. And so I'll start from Sam Howell. He went 27 for 39, 299 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 13 rushing yards. Then we'll move to Dak. 31 for 38, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, 14 rushing yards. Then we got Jalen Hurts, who went for 18 for 23, 193 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 35 rushing yards. And then we got Daniel Jones, who was 26 for 37, 321 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, 59 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. My rankings for the quarterbacks this week are Jones, Howell, Prescott, Hurts. What about you guys?
I'm gonna go. Okay, so might be being a little biased here, but Sam Howell, Dak. Actually, no, I'll be fair. Actually, no, I am being fair. Sam Howell, Dak, Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts.
I mean, Daniel Jones did have the most passing yards.
Yes, but he also had an interception.
And Samuel Howell didn't. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if we're going there, okay.
I mean, I can't really fight for Jalen Hurts. 1 touchdown, 1 interception for 193. That's below his ad. That's below his standard. So I can't argue that.
So what's your ranking, Maurice?
I agree with yours.
Okay. Earl.
All right. What did you have for yours again?
I had Howell, Prescott, Jones, Hurts.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that one as well.
All right. So Mal, what was yours again? You said it was Jones. Who?
Howell, Prescott, Hurts.
So you just have pretty much you put Jones on top. Okay, I get it because he's the comeback king for you this week. I understand why you did that. What's our next one, Mal?
Our next one is we're gonna do the running backs. So we got Tony Pollard. He had 26 carries for 72 yards, 7 receptions for 37 yards. We have Saquon Barkley, 17 carries for 63 yards, 6 receptions for 29 yards, and 1 touchdown. Then we have DeAndre Swift for 28 carries for 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 receptions for 6 yards. And then Brian Robinson, 18 carries for 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 receptions for 42 yards.
400. Ooh.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
No. And by the way, I forgot to put this when we put it on here. Robinson also had a successful 2-point conversion too.
Okay, awesome. So I ranked them Robinson, Swift, Barkley, Pollard.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that.
Why?
Can I go?
Because
Can I go?
Swift. Yeah, Earl, go ahead.
Wait, didn't
Okay.
Saquon have 2 touchdowns? Or am I losing?
Yeah,
it?
no, one passing, one reception.
Oh, okay. I totally messed up my ranking. Anyway, you guys go first, and then I got to reevaluate now.
Okay. Earl, go
Okay.
ahead.
Mine. I got DeAndre Swift,
Mhm.
Brian Robertson,
Mhm.
Saquon, and Tony Pollard.
Yeah, Earl, I agree.
That's
on
about
that one.
right. Yeah, that's about right.
Swift almost had 200 yards, Mal. I was like, what? Look, I love Brian Robinson.
Swift was
but
balling.
Swift
He was
was just
balling.
he was on a different level than anybody. Brian Robinson probably would have won this week if Swift didn't ball out, but Swift did ball out. So
I was just
Swift-
impressed with Robinson's receptions, honestly.
oh yeah, no, the screen game worked
Yeah.
really well this past week for
Mhm.
us.
DeAndre Swift was the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, so that pretty much
Yeah, he
sums
was.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree. Swift, Brian Robinson, Saquon, Pollard.
Yeah. No, that seems about right. Look, the running back position in the NFC East is stacked this year, in my opinion.
Yep.
I agree.
All right, Mal, what's our last position that we're covering?
Yeah, let's move to wide receivers. So we have Jalen Hyatt, 2 receptions for 89 yards, 2 targets. CeeDee Lamb, 11 receptions, 143 yards, 13 targets. Terry McLaurin, 5 receptions for 54 yards, 6 targets, 1 touchdown. Devonta Smith, 4 receptions for 131 yards, 5 targets, 1 touchdown. How would you guys rank them?
This is a tougher one.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got mine. You guys can agree or disagree. So, number 1, I'm going to give Smith number 1. I'm going to give CD number 2. I'm going to give Terry number 3 and Hyatt number 4.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
agree with that.
I probably agree with that.
Earl?
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats. Hold on. Yeah, I can agree with that. I really like what CD did against the Jets with their top defense. But,
Yeah, look, CD had a great game.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that list. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think Devontae gets the edge because he did it with only 4 receptions and 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
But CD had the second best week for sure. And Terry, you know, that touchdown catch. Who saw that touchdown catch?
Because I had no choice.
I know you
Yeah.
didn't.
I did.
Okay.
That was great.
That was double coverage, 30
Insane.
yards out. That was impressive.
Yeah, solid job by our star players this week.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I just want to call out one person, that DB for the Broncos that did that helmet to helmet against Logan Thomas. I hope you get suspended.
Yeah.
Hello?
Play. That was a dirty play.
Yeah, that wasn't right. I think the league is investigating it.
Because he had one last week against the guy from L.A. I mean, not L.A.
Hey, can y'all
Las
guys
Vegas.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. That stuff like that shouldn't be in the game, especially these days when concussions are so prevalent. Nasty work.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the receivers, Devontae had 4 receptions for 131 on 5 targets. It seems like Jalen Hurts is targeting Devontae a little bit more than AJ. And we even saw that during the game where AJ had a little thing on the sideline. He was like, yo, give me the ball. And then Jalen Hurts started throwing a little bit more to him, which actually threw the offense off a little bit, if you ask me, because they were running it so well. I don't think there's anything to it. I think it's a nothing burger, but more will be revealed as the weeks go on. But AJ is going to want the ball. I'll just say that.
Yeah, for sure. Gosh, this is going to be week 3 is going to be interesting. Which brings us to our next point. Well, actually, before our next point, Mal, what's our other social media interaction?
Yeah. So we had the Who's That player. So for the Giants, we had Carl Banks. For the Eagles, we had Jason. Is it Babin?
Yes.
Yes, Jason Babin. For the Commanders, we had Liddell Betts, and for
Hey.
Dallas, we had Anthony Henry.
Yep.
Good choices this week, guys. I think this is more of one of our off-season things. So, fans, if you like it, make sure you let us know. But we'll bring it back during the off-season. But for now, we need to focus on the active players. So, that being said, before we leave, I just want to preview Week 3 here real quick. So the Commanders are playing against the Bills. The Eagles are playing against the Buccaneers, who are surprisingly 2-0. Giants are playing against 49ers tomorrow night. We're recording Wednesday night, by the way. And Cowboys are playing against the Cardinals. That should be another win for y'all. So, how are we feeling about our Week 3 matchups?
I'm confident.
I actually feel good about mine. You know what? Josh Allen can lose them a game, and with our defense, I feel like that's possible.
This is going to be the first real test for the Commanders.
Oh, absolutely. I think the Buccaneers are going to get you guys, to be honest. Look, Baker Mayfield's been playing great.
You're saying you're going to lose?
I think, well, I mean, I don't think I predicted that when we did our predictions, but I mean, I think it's more than, I don't think it's, if you guys mess up here, I wouldn't be shocked because the Buccaneers have surprised a lot of people so far.
They have a solid defense. I'll give them that.
Yeah. I like the way Baker's playing.
And Baker's feisty.
Baker is baking.
Yes, he is. Might be
baking
he might be baking some L's for Maurice.
We're gonna see what he's cooking Monday night.
Yeah.
We definitely will. What Mal? How you feeling with all the injuries that you guys got? Because I saw that you guys lost an offensive lineman too, right, for this game.
I lost both. I lost the whole left side.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I'm just along for the ride. You know.
So you're not predicting a win here.
If I did that, I would look like the stupidest person on the planet, especially because the 49ers are like the best team in the league outside of the Cowboys right now. And I don't know what my team is doing. I have no idea. So I'm hoping for not a blowout at this point, really.
So if it makes you feel any better, you felt the same way when we made our preseason predictions. So
yeah, no, I always had this one as marked as an L. Never thought we were going to win this one. So
yeah, it might not
hasn't changed.
You might want to play Tyrod this game, to be honest. You might, yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen, but
no.
Protect Danny Dimes, or as Earl calls him, Danny Dips.
Yeah, he wasn't Danny Dips last week.
No, he was not. Well, first half he was.
First half he was. Second half he wasn't.
Yeah. All right, and then last, Earl, this should be an win for you guys. There should be no reason that you guys lose this game. If you lose this game, I'm going to be worried about y'all.
We're not losing this game.
You better not be. And on that note, we're going to wrap things up here. Guys, thank you so much for listening with us. Make sure you follow us on Spotify. Subscribe to our page. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Those are 13_Rings Podcast as our usernames. And make sure you follow us on Facebook as 13 Rings Podcast, okay? And from all of us, we'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one.
Good night, guys.
Bless.